Some of us walk from Muzdalifah to Makkah. We walk from Muzdalifah to Mina, Mina to Jamarat, Jamarat to Makkah, where we have our hotel, and then we do the tawaf and the sa'i and everything else. Remember one time we counted close to 17 miles of walking. But it's so beautiful. You're walking with the people, you don't even know you're walking. But your body has to be ready for this. We have buses, don't worry. This is something that people just go crazy and do. But the thing is, walking is important. You're going to walk to the masjid. When you walk into the masjid of Rasulullah, then you have to walk to the front and you have to walk back. That in itself is a walk. When you walk into haram, when you make tawaf, calculate what your tawaf is. Get one of your Fitbits or your calculators that can calculate your steps. It's quite a bit. So physical health is imperative. We need to make sure we take care of our health. In reference to that, do get your checkups. If you have any medications that you are on, make sure that you take those medications in abundance with you. Talk to your doctor, get a refill from the pharmacy, and keep that with you, inshallah. This is in respect to physical preparation. It's simple. I don't think there's much to speak about it. Anyone have anything to say about physical preparation? Thank you. So with medication, we still run in Saudi, alhamdulillah, as part of this a free health clinic. So some of our friends from New York, they take suitcases of medicine. Suitcases that they buy of medications. People donate when they have friends with pharmacies, and we take it over there. And of course, there's clinics that we run there. So alhamdulillah, what happens is that, yes, if the medication is not in the right packaging, it may be a problem. But the thing is to make sure that the bottles that you get it in from the pharmacy, you could tell the pharmacy, look, I need this refill, put it in 2 small bottles, for example, and of course have the label on it. Sometimes what people do is they put them into alternative packaging methods, and you may forget what the medication is, or you may lose it, or they may question what this medicine is. Remember, the law of Saudi Arabia is drug trafficking. The penalty is death. It's written on the immigration form when you land, on the landing card. So be very careful. Make sure your medicines are medicines. If you're taking insulin, you bring your little cooler. They let it pass, inshallah. Shouldn't be a problem. In reference to health, you talked about water. Brothers and sisters, one of the main things that starts in Saudi Arabia is the cough. Right? Someone starts coughing, then someone else starts coughing, and then it becomes cough mania. Everyone's coughing, right? And how does it start? Number one is cold drinks. When you're drinking a lot of cold drinks, it may start inflammation. If that inflammation starts, it starts mucus, and then from there you start coughing. So avoid 2 things, and I'll tell you this in good heart, in good spirit, because I've learned through mistakes. Never drink from soda fountains in Saudi Arabia. Soda fountains or those water fountains, don't drink from them. Because the mass usage of those soda fountains, the filtration system gets compromised. Okay? It's not something they're doing deliberately. Imagine that you're in a Burger King or a McDonald's that is so full and it's packed all the time and you're constantly delivering. So what you do then is... Is it in front? Right there? Oh, subhanAllah. Just off topic, Honda Pilot license plate GZW6475. They have parked their car by the entrance of the masjid. If anyone, inshallah, in the masjid owns a Honda Pilot, license plate GZW6475, please move your car immediately. It is blocking people from exiting the masjid. Jazakallah khair. Oh, he hit it. He hit someone? Okay, so please meet with the brother, inshallah. Apparently he hit someone's car, so inshallah, if that could be handled. Jazakumullah khairan. So number one, stay away from soda machines. Believe me, that's a trigger point. If you drink soda or juice or anything else, you get the cans or the bottles. Those are better. Number 2 is cold drinks. too much cold. If you remember back home countries, still till today, in the heat of the day, they drink chai. Why? Because it has an adverse effect. You're drinking hot, it cools your body down. You're drinking cold drinks, it's just making you more thirsty. So don't drink so many cold drinks. If at the first sign that you have the cough or something else, what I found as a very good resource to contain it before antibiotics, because ultimately you get on antibiotics if that happens, and the pharmacy also there prescribed it, and again, I'm not being a doctor here, you do consult with your doctors, you consult with the pharmacist over there, is allergy medications and Mucinex. Because allergy medication stops the thrush and the mucus, and the Mucinex will take out whatever is in there from becoming infections. So it's worked for me. I'm just sharing that. I'm not a doctor or physician in any level. So now when it comes to cough syrups and the cough medications here, they don't work there. None of them will work there. So if you do get the cough there, it's a unique type of cough. They even call it the Hajj cough. It's something that lingers for months after you come back. So what happens is that if you don't do precautionary measures, ultimately it will start building on you. And if you don't nip it, then the pharmacy over there will give you their version of the cough syrup, a bacteria type of tablet that you suck that kind of cleans it out, and they'll give you cough medications and antibiotics. They know what to do. Alhamdulillah, they are well trained. Each pharmacist is a physician. They know exactly what to give. Well, many people do take antibiotics from here, but if it's something you're accustomed to taking, which I hope anyone isn't, really won't help you. But if you do need it over there, Z-Pak and Amoxicillin, they have everything accessible there. Yes. But you can take your own also, yeah. So long you are under the care of someone's direction, I wouldn't say everyone just starts doing their own thing over there. So physical health is important, everyone. The second thing is called packing. What to pack. It's part of the preparation, yes. Thank you. So Zamzam water, Jazakallah khair. Zamzam water in Mecca and Medina. In Medina outside and in Mecca, some places outside, you'll see water fountains. Silver, long table type of things, and they have like multiple faucets. It's written there in Arabic. It's not Zamzam water. It's just cold drinking water. That's not Zamzam water. So don't run for that. Where the Zamzam water is, there's the brown tubs inside the masjid, and in Mecca, outside the wall of the masjid, there are two options in that pile. There will be 8 containers. 6 of them will be the cold, mubarrad, and 2 of them will be room temperature. And it's written, غير mubarrad. It's written in baby blue, it's not cold. And what they're doing now, they're increasing the not cold water, is because they understand that not everyone will take the cold water. So go with the non-cold water, the room temperature one. Yeah. Some people have more sensitivities to others. So just make sure you keep that in mind. That being said, brothers and sisters, health, I cannot emphasize enough on health. Please, brothers and sisters, no one is exempted. I don't care what package you go in. I don't care if you're staying in the Jamarat, in front of the Jamarat. You still have to walk. And if you're staying in front of the Jamarat, you have to get out of your tent. You have to go left. You have to walk close to a little more than third of a mile. You have to go upstairs to the 3rd floor. Then you have to walk at least a mile plus, do the Jamarat, and then come right back down. It's not an easy walk. So just remember that. Walking is something you can't get away from in Hajj. So what the scholars have said for masks, for a brother who is in the state of ihram, and for a sister who's in the state of ihram, it is forbidden for anything to touch the face directly. But a mask is an exemption for the sake of health. Realistically, if you have the cough, then you really want to wear a mask, because when you do cough, the microbes of your mucus is going around, and that could cause someone else to get sick. Inshallah, if you don't feel that sickness, then don't just wear a mask for the sake of prevention. Do it as if something does actually start lingering. People talk about taking emergency, or they take airborne immune boosters. There's many things that people can take to boost their immunity to make sure that their health is good. Because remember, physical fatigue will lead to deterioration in health. So you want to make sure that your health is good, your immune system is there. So you get elderberry, gummies or tablets or something. Again, just take care of yourself. I don't want to give people a whole shopping list of things that they don't think they need. Just be. No, masks are permitted. They're permitted. So there's no longer tunnels where the buses and people walk in the same tunnel. The pedestrian tunnels are exclusively pedestrian, and the car tunnels are on a whole different side. So there's no longer a mixture of fumes where you're walking. Except even in the Haram now, around Makkah, you may not see many cars. It's all underground. It's only pedestrians up on top. So that's our physical preparation. Let's go to packing, brothers and sisters. I want you all to work with me on packing. If you're traveling with a family member, you need to take 4 suitcases or 3 suitcases. And I'll tell you what, people end up shopping as it is. And when they shop, then they want to buy suitcases. Now, the suitcases over there are hard to find. You may find some stores where they'll charge you anywhere between $60 to $300 for a suitcase. A Samsonite suitcase, you're looking at least $200 plus. Starts at 700 plus riyals. They're super expensive. You could go to Burlington Coat Factory, Marshalls, or Ross and get them for a fraction of the price. You go to Costco and get those. So if you know you're going to buy something, which is fine, it's not haram, just go prepared with luggage so you don't have to do things. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to call your airline, or you're going to go to your airline's website and find out what the requirement is for luggage. Every airline has a specific requirement. Yes, it's kind of common. Shujabai is here, he can help us. 2-piece luggage, 50 pounds each, right? Now, some airlines, based on your ticket, you might only be allowed 1 suitcase. Let me give you a scenario. If you're going to Dubai and you're stopping for a few days, and now you're going with Saudi Airlines, it's a one-way ticket. It's not a continuation of international. Or on the way back, you do vice versa. It happened to me last year. They only allowed 1 suitcase, 23 kilos or 22 kilos, which became a problem because I had 2 separate tickets, meaning I was stopping. I wasn't transiting. So do find out based on your ticket what your luggage requirements are. Every airline, for the most part, is 32 inches, 50 pounds, 23 kilos, whatever that may be. And hand luggage, Emirates is very strict on hand luggage. 1 piece only, 7 kilos. 1 piece, 7 kilos. It's not much of a problem when you're going as it is when you're coming back. So just remember, the agent on the counter could be super nice or could super enforce their rules on you. So you don't want to be in trouble. So learn what you need to do first. Now, when you go to the store and buy your suitcases, if you don't have them, I want you to buy 2 suitcases, one smaller than the other. So if you're buying a 31-inch, buy the other one a 28-inch or a 27-inch. Does that make sense? Thank you. And you're going to put the small one inside the big one. Because realistically, you don't need to take more than 1 suitcase worth of stuff from here. Does that make sense? So the 27-inch, you put your stuff in it, you put that suitcase in the 31-inch or the 30-inch, and you zip it up and you check in 1 suitcase. So when over there you need it because you bought books or dates or clothes or whatever else, then you just expand and put the stuff in there. Another thing, if you're traveling with families, if you're traveling with your spouse, you are going to cross your packaging, your packing. What I mean is, You're going to put half of your clothes in your wife's suitcase, and your wife is going to put half of her clothes in your suitcase, and vice versa. Sisters also. What does that mean? Allah forbid, if your suitcase gets lost in travel, you still have some clothing. Does that make sense? We learned this. We went to Umrah many years ago. One of our families lost their suitcase, and this was the idea we came up with, running around trying to find the suitcase. It came after 3 days. But if you have one or two of each of your things in each other's suitcases, then at least you have enough to get by. Right? Now, what do you put inside that suitcase? Clothing. We start off with clothing. How many pairs of clothing do I need to take? That's the golden question everyone asks. Now, if you are living in a hotel in Makkah and Medina, depending on the hotel that you're staying in some hotels they may allow you to wash some clothes in the room and hang them over the window. You know, back old days they do that. But remember, you're sharing a room with 4 other people unless you've booked specifically you and your spouse. The generic thing for Hajj companies is the price is quoted 4 in a room. Now that 4 doesn't mean you, your wife, and your son and your daughter or something, or your uncle or your aunt or something. It's 4 men in a room, 4 women in a room. If you do book for your family, then that's something you talk to your agent that I want a room for 2, that's my wife and I, or I want a room for 3, myself, my mom and my dad. That's something specific. So for the most part, you will have the option not to wash in the hotel. You would have to go out and get it washed in the laundromat. And there are some people who will come by the hotel and offer that service, and they charge, but it's not too expensive. But majority of the hotels which are closer to the Haramain, Makkah and Medina, they have in-house laundry, and it could tend to be a little costly. It could be a bit expensive. So what I tell people is 5 pairs of clothing in your suitcase, 1 pair that you're wearing for the journey, and a pair that's in your handbag if you've got a long journey is more than enough. So what do I mean by pairs of clothes? That could mean decent pants and decent shirts. It could mean kurta and shalwar. It could mean jubba and shalwar. It could mean abaya and a dress. 5 to 7 pairs, including what you're wearing, is enough. Okay? Not everyone going nowadays to Hajj has what we call Islamic clothing. So if you don't have Pakistani dress or Indian dress or Bangladeshi dress or Arab dress, take decent clothes. We are seeing a shift in culture that in Makkah and Medina you got the tight jeans and you got the tight shirts and you got the writing on the shirts and you got very provocative clothing starting to come. And I talked about this in the khutbah 2 weeks ago. The respect of Allah's house. A shirt like this and that is okay. Simple, it's fine. But anything else, brothers and sisters, you're not going to Las Vegas. That's the only way I could say. You're not going to Las Vegas. You're going to Allah's house. So whatever you are doing, make sure you pack respectful, loose, decent clothing. Inshallah. Don't have our sisters also. I beg our sisters. I know we're traveling and we want to be comfortable in traveling. That's different. But for Makkah and Medina, some of the clothing that we're starting to see, it really makes you cringe. As Mufti Wasim spoke about the muhabba, the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What is Medina? I'm walking in the footsteps of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Be cognizant of that, inshallah. Now, when it comes to undergarments, we talked about upper and bottom, right? Now, undergarments, t-shirts and underwears. I would say anywhere between 10 is good. Because you're going to sweat like crazy there. You will go for prayer and come back and you'll realize your shirt is heavy. You're wet. So you can save your kurta by just changing your undershirts. So having additional undershirts and undergarments is not a bad thing. And they don't take up space in the suitcase. So I put my clothing, I put my underclothing. Yes. In ihram, you're only in ihram for maximum 3 days. Umrah and Hajj included, you're in ihram in your entire journey for 3 days. Or 4 days max. 4th day you're out, inshallah. So for the duration of the trip, the majority of the trip, you're going to be in regular clothing. So you have your ihram. You have now, if your Hajj group will provide you bedding in Mina, in Arafah and stuff, or Mina and Muzdalifah, you don't need it. Some Hajj groups tell people to take a sleeping bag. Some do. And so I cannot say across the board, but if they do, you'll need to invest in something small as a sleeping bag, a small pillow. Huh? In Mina and in Muzdalifah. Some will tell you to bring one along or a mat along. So we have now our upper garments, lower garments, undershirts, underwear. Take 2 pairs of socks, one for the journey. Invest in compression socks because you're going to be on the plane for a long time. I think it's 16 hours to Dubai. If you're going to Emirates, it's going to be, should you go by how long to Turkey? 12? 11 hours from Houston, right? So compression socks are good. Compression socks, because a lot of people, what happens after sitting for so long, their feet swell up, and you really don't want that to happen. So compression socks, they're very cheap, minimal. You get them from like Ross or anywhere else you can find these things. So compression socks is good. Another pair of socks is good. Sisters and brothers for tawaf, a pair of socks is good. And I'll tell you why. Because when you're just making tawaf, not in ihram, you're making your tawaf, the marble tends to crack people's feet. Some people's feet have sensitivity, so you can wear a pair of socks, maybe with a little grip on it. It'd be good for you during tawaf. Sisters, I would ask you all to invest in ballet shoes. Ballet shoes look like socks, very light. You can actually wrap them up and put in your pocket. Wear those during tawaf. They have a sense of a grip, and they also have decent covering. It will help you during your tawaf and whenever you are there. Yeah, women could wear in ihram and outside ihram. Men can wear it outside ihram, not inside ihram. Yeah, but that's when you're in ihram. You cannot wear socks in Safa, Marwa, or Tawaf when you're in the state of ihram. But when you are not, people do their nafil tawaf. That time it's good to have socks if your feet are sensitive to the stone. You know, some people have sensitivity and it cracks very fast. So another thing we should have in our suitcase, let's pack one small hand towel. A hand towel, because when you're going to be Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah, wherever, if you're going to make wudu and it may be chilly at the night or whatever the case may be, or it rains, it's good to have a small hand towel. Don't take a beach towel, just take a small hand towel, you know? Now, slippers. Brothers and sisters, footwear is very important. I would not recommend anyone to go to the mall tomorrow and start buying the most expensive shoe or the most cheapest shoe. Buy or wear what you're accustomed to. Many people, Crocs are good for them. Many people take Crocs there for the first time and it actually is bad for them. So if you're accustomed to wearing a certain type of shoe, wear that. Understand? The whole point is, number one, that shoe should be easy for you to take off and put on. Right? This is for during the journey and even your walks to the Jamarat. The shoe shouldn't be something you have to sit down and tie or untie. Something slip on, slip off. When you're in the crowd going to the haram for a prayer, you literally need to learn how to literally take off your shoes, kick them forward, and then scoop and pick them up. Because if you bend down, someone's going to hit you and you're going to fall down. So it's a technique. And the technique shouldn't be you're going to sit there looking to tie your shoes or something. Slip-on shoes, comfortable shoes, shoes you're accustomed to should be worn for the whole journey. When it comes to the state of ihram, That's going to be when you are in those sheets, brothers, or the sisters are going to be in that state. We'll talk about that next. The sisters have no requirements when it comes to footwear. The sisters can wear socks and whatever shoes they want. Brothers need to wear what? Slippers or flip-flops. Why? If this is your foot, there's the upper bone of the foot, and then there's ankles. According to the school of thought, now I'm not going to get into this whole debate today, is the upper bone and the ankles should be exposed. So most resort to flip-flops, the V-shaped slippers, and others resort to the hiking type of slippers, so long that the front strap covers their toes and not the upper bone, and the other strap is between the upper bone and wraps around the ankles. So whatever you want to wear, that's completely fine. But I would beg all of you not to invest in Gap or Old Navies or whatever else, those bathroom chappals as we call them. Don't buy those bathroom chappals, and I'll tell you why. So here's a pair I have at home that I use. The problem with these type of slippers, everyone says, oh, these are flip-flops. Number one, they're cheap in their making. They will break and come off. The sole of the slipper is very important. You are walking on either marble or you're walking on stone. They're uncomfortable on the stone, and on marble, if there's water, you will slip. So a pair of slippers which have good rubber, which are flexible, which are comfortable, and they're V-shaped slippers, buy one of those and wear it. You get them anywhere between $19, $20 to $30, $40, depending on the quality of what you're looking for. Don't look at numbers and prices. Look at what's comfortable for your foot, because you're going to be walking in those slippers on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, in Muzdalifah on the 9th night. On the 10th, you might go pelt with those and come back. By the time you get out of your ihram, it's going to be 3 full days in those slippers. Don't buy one, buy two. Because if you lose one, then you have a backup. Your backup should be of equal quality or just a little less, but don't jeopardize and say, you know what, I'll figure it out. I'll take a pair of flip-flops on the side. Those ones might end up hurting you. So take care of your feet. It's very important, inshallah. So decent grip on the bottom, good rubber. A Ryder company, to me, I've always loved it. I was going to grab one in Florida, and I just forgot to do that. RYDER. It's a Brazilian rubber company, slippers. I personally love those. So those things last. I don't have one of them right now, but I tell you, those are really good slippers, and they're very comfortable. So a pair of your flip-flops should go with you. Now, let's not pack while we're putting our suitcase. Let's keep these things out, because we have to do 2 things here based on the circumstances. Yeah. If a slipper has stitches on it, it doesn't matter. Slippers could have stitches on it. Your belts could have a stitch on it. Yeah, stitched clothing means clothing which is stitched together as you wear it. A slipper, if it has stitches on it, it's not a problem. Jazakallah for actually clarifying that. When it comes to what else you're going to put in your suitcases or whatever we're going to pack, Pepto-Bismol, Imodium, vitamin C, immune boosting medications, whatever you think that can be helpful to you, a little of it is not going to be harmful. There's one thing, however, I would say is mandatory to pack and buy. It's called Propel. You get the Gatorade version, it's called Propel, or you get the the regular one from Walmart and stuff. It is small packets, sachets. They come 12 or 8 in a box. They are electrolytes. You dump them into a bottle and you drink it. You will be sweating excessively there. You should have at least 1 box each. If you take more, that's good, but don't just reserve them for yourself. Use it, share it. At the end of Hajj, it should be done. What we did in the end days of Hajj, we were making it and giving to the police officer standing out there, just giving it out to people, because everyone needs it over there. It's very important. We got slippers done. Ziploc bags. Take 2 small sandwich Ziploc bags. Take a large Ziploc bag. Just keep it. Small ones, for example, with the retractable zippers, a bit harder ones, those are good for collecting your stones. They'll be helpful, right? You could put your stones on. People put them in water bottles, but it becomes annoying carrying that water bottle. Keep on shaking and crunching all the time. So, yeah, the water bottle wasn't made for that. So just put them into a Ziploc bag and be nice, inshallah. So we got our medications, we got our clothing, we got our slippers, a Ziploc bag, a bottle for water. That's nice. It's a plastic type of bottle. People could invest now in these insulated type of bottles. Mashallah, those ones over there, Shujabai showing. Shujabai will be selling them for $2.99. Okay, but Shujabai, see, like these are good, right? Those are very good. You need those. You know why? Because you're gonna go to the haram every time. You could fill it up with zamzam and you could drink it. Whenever you're walking back and forth, keep drinking. Don't say I'll go to my room and drink. No, you should have a bottle with you all the time, mashallah. And is that the aluminum one? Okay, so aluminum ones could be a bit heavy, these aluminum ones. You also get the ones now, they look like plastic outside. They have like an insulation, thermal type, and they're quite light. It keeps it cool and warm, correct. So they're good. So long when they drop on someone, it won't break someone's foot, we're good. So you got the water bottles. I don't know what number we're on. Okay, umbrella. You need to invest not in an umbrella, you need to invest in a UV umbrella. It is very hot there. And a UV umbrella will not only protect you from the UV rays, but what they will also do is literally lower the temperature under that umbrella by 2 to 3 degrees, if not more. If you're making tawaf in the daytime, you will see a whole bunch of umbrellas. Oh yeah. You can if you're making an nafil tawaf, you can use an umbrella. Even if you're in ihram, you could still use an umbrella. A man cannot cover their head in ihram, but you can use an umbrella because it's not directly touching your head. You're going to use it during tawaf if you do it. You'll use it if it rains. It rains a lot nowadays over there. You'll use it in Mina. You'll use it for sure in Arafah when you're outside praying. You'll use it in the morning on the way back to Mina. It will be used in Medina when you go back and forth from the masjid. There's a reason why in Masjid Nabi, alayhi salam, they have umbrellas all around the masjid. Because it's hotter there. It literally is. So that little walk, an umbrella should be in your bag. And I'll tell you what bag. Have you guys seen those string bags people use for gym? Get one of those. If you have one, it's fine. If you don't, get one. But get one that doesn't have anything on it. Don't advertise Nike, Puma, a basketball team or anything else. Just get a simple string bag. You'll need it always for these 3 things. Your water bottle, your umbrella, and your slippers. Right? Because when you go into the masjid, you throw it into your bag and off you go. When you get out of the masjid, pull it out, throw it down, and walk with it. And in Makkah, you'll need a 4th thing in that bag, and that will be a musalla, a prayer mat. Because sometimes you might be praying on the road, you might be praying on the side, throw down a prayer mat and pray. It's a bit different in Makkah than it is in Medina. So a drawstring bag, not a backpack, a drawstring bag is really useful. Some companies will give you one. Some of you could just bring one from here. There's nothing wrong with that to invest in one of those. When we come to pouches, you need to have, I would always recommend people to have a neck pouch. If you're taking cash from here, let's be clear, by law of United States Customs and Immigration and global, you are only allowed to carry $10,000 worth of currency without claiming it. Without declaring it. And that's $10,000 per family, not per individual. So if you're a family of 6 traveling and you have 11,000 on you, you can be in trouble. So, money, we're not talking about travel checks, we're not talking about checks, we're talking about cash. Make sure whatever you take, none of my business. If it's above 10,000, you need to declare it. We have credit cards nowadays. Call your credit card companies. Make sure that you, number one, let them know that you are traveling where and when. You don't need to give them the intricates. Say, I'm traveling from August 2nd to August 17th. I'll be in XYZ countries. So what happens is that they don't put a restriction on your card, that you would have to then call them from overseas and dispute that. So call your credit card companies and make sure that there's no foreign transaction fees. Don't use a credit card that charges you foreign transaction fees, because it's not going to be worth it. So personally, my personal opinion, $1,200 to $1,500 is more than enough for a person. Meaning, like, most Hajj groups don't give you lunch. I don't think any Hajj group gives you. No Hajj group in America or Europe or Canada gives you lunch. It's breakfast and dinner in the hotels, but during the days of Hajj, it's breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner. So you want to go buy a burger, you want to go eat out at lunch, you want to give a sadaqah, you want to buy some pair of clothes, you buy some gift. To me, this is my personal opinion. Don't come back and tell me to want Imam. It wasn't enough. Please don't hold me accountable. If you buy a $900 rug for your wall, don't come and say Imam is your wall. I'm just saying, out of experience of seeing how people travel, I think $1,200 to $1,500 is a lot. And then, of course, you have your credit card on the side, right? So that's something to just keep in mind. Yeah. And then the thing is, the bills that you take from here, they should be only $100 bills. And I'll tell you why. Because the currency exchange over there gives you a better rate for a $100 bill. They'll give you a notorious rate if you take a $20 bill. And they'll throw a $5 bill back at you to give it to them. So don't take penny change, right? Just take hundreds. And that too, the newer ones, Hamza, the new ones. Don't take the old ones. Even when it was the old one, they were looking at the date, 2001, 2013. They were looking at the dates, and that was sometimes a factor. I don't know why they do that. It's not right, but that's what they did. So if you take hundreds and take that, and put it in a neck pouch. The beauty of a neck pouch is, when you're traveling, it's with you. I always tell the brothers, when you are not in a state of ihram, wear your neck pouch, put it under your undershirt, and tuck your undershirt in. So it's secure. If someone was to see it and cut it or something, it drops in your shirt. It doesn't drop down. Sisters should keep a neck pouch throughout. So wherever their valuables or money is, it should stay in their neck pouch. Now when it comes to the waist pouch for the brothers, I would say just invest in it in Saudi Arabia. If you can't, if you're going Makkah first, then buy what they call the fanny pack or the pouch, which isn't bulky. Buy one of the thin ones, because you're not supposed to put money in there. That's supposed to be for your room key, your cell phone, and a few bucks for cutting your hair. That's really when you have the ihram on. So if you are going to Makkah first, you'll need to invest in the waist pouch, brothers, here as a belt. Because then you can't wear your neck pouch. If you're doing it, people see it. It's actually an attraction. I have money on me. When you're in these clothing, you can wear it, but the sisters will be in these type of clothing throughout, so they should just keep a neck pouch on. They don't need a waist pouch. So we talked about that. Next one, people have maybe a sensitivity to certain types of foods. Take some of those foods from here. Don't bank on getting them over there. If you do get it over there, it may be much more expensive. Batteries. If you're taking a flashlight, which I would say everyone should take a flashlight, you don't know where you're going to end up in Muzdalifah. Sometimes it's going to be dark, or you're going to take a walk in Mina at night. Having a flashlight isn't a bad idea. Take a few batteries with you, because batteries are very expensive over there. Like if you energizers and stuff, they're really expensive compared to here. So grab a few, take 4 of them and just stick in your bag. In addition to that, foods, cell phones, everyone, cell phones. We can't do without our cell phones, right? Okay, if you're taking your laptop because you're working, take care of your laptop. Really, it's that you have to take it. That's perfectly fine. Keep it in your handbag at all times. But if you're taking a cell phone, most of our cell phones here will not work there. All our cell phones have a chip, a GSM chip, right? But that chip is exclusive with the phone, and that phone may be locked. They call it locked. So if you're with T-Mobile, I know T-Mobile by default allows you to travel and use your phone overseas, And the charge of T-Mobile is 50 cents per minute to America, which is equivalent to 2 riyals, and that's exactly the cost in Saudi per minute is 2 riyals. So it's almost the same thing. The only downside is anyone in Saudi can't call you because they'll be charged for it. So if I called you in Saudi from my Saudi phone to your American phone, I'll be charged 2 riyals a minute because it's the American number. So, but that's up to personal preference. If you want to take your T-Mobile or you want to tell AT&T to give you a plan for your cell phone accordingly, they will give you some type of a plan with data and also with cellular minutes. That's personally up to you. If not, either make sure that you can unlock your phone, or you can purchase on eBay or Amazon, a very simple unlock phone. Or you can go to Saudi Arabia and invest $110 for one of those cheap, what you call them, cheap smartphones, or a simple, those old Nokia phones we used to have. Anything that you need, just understand that those options are there. Before Hajj groups, we used to provide SIM cards to our Hajis, but a law went into effect 3 years ago where we could no longer do that. The reason being is that every person who buys a SIM card has to register. So for that, what you're going to do is when you get your passports back, you're going to keep photocopies of your passport front page, 3 of them, your visa, 3 of them, your green card, 3 of them, and put them in your suitcases and in your handbag. Okay? When you get to Medina Munawwara, and I hope they're still not doing this, they give you this landing card, and it has stickers on it. There's no harm in pulling one of those stickers off when they give you that card inside your passport. Like it's a white card you fill out, they'll pull one sticker and put in your passport and leave the rest of them in your passport and hand it back to you. At that time, you could pull one of those stickers or take a photo of that sticker and keep it. So when you go to Mobile or Sawa or Zain, which are some of the mobile companies there, you'll have to stand in line. When you go there and they call you, they're going to, number one, look at a photocopy of your passport. They will look at your ID card of what company you're with. They're going to look at that barcode, that sticker. Either you have a photo there, you just take a picture, you take one of them off and stick it on your passport photocopy, and then they'll take your fingerprints. And then they will give you a SIM card. Based on global security issues, this is how they process things now. So you may not get access to a phone right away. So the best thing to do is when you get to Saudi Arabia, WhatsApp or Viber, whatever your family, and tell them, look, I'm here. You're not allowed to call with WhatsApp. It's blocked. You cannot do WhatsApp calls from Saudi. It's blocked, right? So you can just message them. But if you need the phone for the sake of calling, it'll take you at least a day to get the time to go there and get it done. It's a process. Well, depending on the time and depending on the rush, it's notorious. It took me 3 days to get it. Messaging, it works. But the calls. Yeah, but you won't be able to call. You won't call. I don't want to talk about that. You know why? Because to some Saudis, that's restricted also. Any of those things that bypass, any of the BOTIM, what's it? Bottom? Okay. They have these VPN apps like Fishbone and stuff, which when you open, it kind of bypasses their security protocols. But I'm not going to advocate for that stuff because your cell phone is being monitored, your data is being monitored. It's a security thing, so you don't want to do anything illegally. Well, it's scrutinized during Hajj. Hajj is, I don't think anyone can understand the details of scrutiny that happens in Hajj. So for that, I just say you could do your messages and stuff, but if you need to call, then you need the cell phone plan. They give you good deals with data also. You get 4 GB and stuff, and so. But you get Wi-Fi in most hotels. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So brother's saying for the sisters upstairs that he went to Umrah in 2017. It took him almost a week to get his phone and his SIM card. And if you're there for Umrah and you're running around just for this, it really messes you up. It really does. So it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Yeah. Verizon charges you $10 per day. So yeah, every company has different. Oh, mashallah. So every company has different plans coming out, and yeah. Sprint has 25 cents. So yeah, just find that out. But remember, I would never advise. So what we do some groups is we have calls amongst ourselves. We make WhatsApp groups amongst our Hajj group. So everyone's on WhatsApp together. But just say you have a partnership with the brothers in your room and you guys are going to call each other. Since you have an American phone, it may be hard for some people to keep on. They'll call you for 5 minutes and their 10 riyals is done or something. So just see it out. If it's just for the sake of calling home and stuff, it's fine. Then we'll just stick to messaging amongst the people who are in the group. So that's something very important to look into. Some people have issues with toilet paper and stuff. Is one thing we wrote down was toilet papers. Take a roll from here if you feel that the ones over there, which are if you need, some people have sensitivity, so that's a good thing to look at. So now you have brothers and sisters. We spent a lot of time unpacking. So now how are we going to do this? How are we going to put all this away? Yeah. So when it comes to your toiletries, when it comes to your soaps and shampoos, whatever you love using, your perfumes and stuff, take a travel size. Don't go Costco and buy the big bottle. No, take a travel size with you. When it comes to this unscented market, and by the way, the shop in the mall across, the sister said anyone going for Hajj, she would be willing to gift to everyone who's going for Hajj this packet that she put together of unscented soap and stuff. But brothers and sisters, unscented soap, shampoo, and deodorant is only in the state of ihram. In the ihram. When you take a shower in any day, you could wear everything, use anything. Even when you're taking the shower to get into ihram, you could use everything. And I'm going to talk about that now. We're just going to go through that. We're going to kind of bypass this because we're supposed to have a little break, but I think we need to go into the practical aspects of Hajj. So when we talk about the packing, right? These are a few things. I'm not saying this is everything. In our group, we sent out a list to everyone of what they should pack. So we gave basically things that we've learned over time. As Mufti Wasim said, take your dua books and stuff. Don't take so many. We talked about soaps and stuff, nail cutters, scissors, whatever you need. Make sure that you have whatever you need. Everyone has their own thing. Now, where do I put this stuff? If you're going to Makkah first, your hand luggage has your ihram, has your belt, has your slippers, has your medication, has your money, has your important documents, and your computer, whatever. That's in your handbag. Does that make sense, everyone? If you're going Makkah first, that's the only thing in your handbag, nothing else. Right? Because that will take up everything. The ihram itself, if that's not the whole handbag, I don't know what it is. That's quite a big thing. That's quite big. And it's heavy too. So, if you're not going to Makkah first, your hand luggage should have your medications. Don't ever travel without your medications. I would always say keep even your extra prescribed medicines in your hand luggage. If you put them in the suitcase and your suitcase gets lost, it's going to be a health disaster. So keep all your medications so long they're not liquid. And if they're liquid, TSA will understand. It has your label on it, wherever else. It needs to go in your hand luggage. Your money, your personal belongings, and a pair of clothing, a light pair of clothing. Just say you want to change in Turkey or Dubai or somewhere else, because the journeys are not short. So it's a good thing to have. Now you've got everything in your suitcase. You close your first suitcase, you close your second suitcase. So 2 suitcases are in one. I don't recommend locking them even with TSA approved locks because sometimes it just break the zipper. So I don't lock my suitcases anymore when I travel. Just leave it. It's not worth them breaking it. So it's my personal preference, but if you are going to lock it, make sure it's TSA approved. It has that red diamond thing on it. The TSA approved, because globally they should know how to open that. They have a key everywhere for security. Zip ties, but yeah, they'll cut that if they need to get inside. So that goes physical preparation, that was packing and getting yourself ready. So some people have, Jazakallah khair, some people have that concern that I'm not comfortable with how they cut hair over there. Now, sisters, take a small pair of scissors. If you are a family traveling together, there's like a mother and a daughter and a few people, one pair of scissors is good enough to cut their hair. The women, they have to cut their hair also. Take a pair of scissors for that. When it comes to the brothers, they need to cut their hair or shave their hair. People like to take machines from here and stuff. You really don't need to, because the rules pertaining to hair cutting there are enforced with a death penalty. They never use used razors. They never use bad razors. It is scrutinized. It is very difficult. Yeah, if they open a packet in front of you, they open up, they shave it, and they throw it. It's not like they reuse those things. And machines are machines. They do the machine cutting there. So it's not unhygienic in that sense. But if a person wants to take their personal, there's nothing wrong with it. But just keep in mind that it takes more space. That's all, right? Yeah. Oh, they'll come and grab your hand and take you to their source. Yeah. 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 Oh, no. It's not, they don't change the blade. No. It's the whole thing, the whole instrument. Yeah. So they have the whole instrument. They pop open a pack. It's like a Gillette razor, the blue one. It's the whole thing. And they do it, and then they throw it. Sometimes they use two on a person. Yeah. It's better. Yeah, so the shaving cream that you put is unscented shaving cream. That's another. Yeah, so two more things came in mind, brothers and sisters. A battery pack for your cell phones. A battery pack. A battery pack that can charge your cell phone at least twice. Look at the megahertz or whatever, the battery size that the battery has, and look at the charger. The charger should have enough juice that it could charge like the one that you have there. It could charge your phone at least twice, because alhamdulillah, the out. So yeah, just have to look at the numbers, make sure it charges. Why? Because when you go to Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah, there's no plugs. Like, the plugs are really being used for the main purpose of why you're there, like the air conditioner and stuff. And if people start using the outlets, people take the adapters and start plugging adapters into adapters so they can put their phones and stuff, and you blow it. Once you blow that thing, it's a problem. So please, keep your own battery pack. And the last thing, a universal charger. Because a universal adapter. Yeah, because in Medina, some hotels have the British 3 prongs, and then they have the 2 circle ones in some hotels. So a universal adapter is important, because I think here in America we're 110 and they're 220. So we have to make sure that you keep that in mind. Do go through the adapters. If not, then that might burn out whatever you're taking from here. So that's a lot of details on packing and a lot of things on luggage. I hope we got that set. And make sure, if you can, they sell these small little weight machine things for $8 or something from Walmart. It's digital. You could just weigh your suitcases. It's good to know that what your weight is. Make sure you keep it under 50 pounds. Throw that into your suitcase also, and you're good to go. So this is all physical preparation. Yes? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The question is that we're going with 4 suitcases, coming back with 4 suitcases as a couple. What happens with Zamzam? Now, don't hold me accountable for this, but most airlines allow Zamzam to come complimentary. But there are days when they change their mind. I remember one Saudi airline was charging $170 per Zamzam for people, and it became a fight. And then Hajj. And ultimately, what happened was the manager then that it slide. Some people paid and some people let it go. So when you go to the airport, you see a lot of Zamzams lying around. It's all a hit and miss. But usually for airlines, they take it complimentary as an additional piece. It's built and made for that. You don't have to buy Zamzam in Makkah or Medina. When you get to the airport, you give your passport. They will charge you 10 riyals and they'll give you one box of that Zamzam. Some people, what they do is like, okay, I'm going to travel. I'm going alone. I don't need to buy anything. One suitcase is my clothing. One suitcase, I'll put 2 or 3 of the Zamzam. Because before the Zamzam used to be big, right? And then it became small. And I heard it's going to get smaller now. Yeah. It's actually in a small little white and baby blue box. It already has a packet on it. It's durable for the plane. It's made for the temperature and the movement of the plane. Some people, what they do is they get another suitcase or a bag and they put a few of them in it to make it like 50 pounds. And what they do is they take that. Sometimes those suitcases are not allowed also. Sometimes you'll get through and sometimes they won't because that's excessive liquid in a suitcase and they consider it to be hazardous, even though it's in that box. So again, everyone gets one, and if Allah has allowed more, then that's fine. And if Allah allows it to come through, then inshallah it will come through. But again, it's all hit and miss. Some airlines will say no problem. Some airlines will say problem. If you're going to Pakistan, Bangladesh, or somewhere else after the Hajj, or you're going from here to New York, and then from New York with another airline back to Dallas, and that airline may not work with that airline, or you're staying in New York for 4 or 5 days and then coming, you may not be able to pull off the Hajj thing. That was in Hajj. They might ask you to pay for a third piece. First piece is 30, second piece is 50, third piece like 70 or something. Each airline has different numbers unless you travel on MubarakSouthwest.com. Everything is Mubarak on Southwest.com, so that's different, right? So we've done a lot on physical. I'm going to take away your break because we have to go into the real important parts now. Spiritual preparation. Let me say a few things straight here. Number 1, in spiritual preparation, ask Allah for tawfiq. Everyone thinks, I'm going to go to Saudi Arabia and read one whole Quran. I'm going to sit in Arafah for 6 hours and make dua. I promise you, brothers and sisters, it ain't going to happen. If you don't prepare from right now to pray, you're not going to pray there. There was a scholar who said that he was with a taxi driver in Mecca and they were driving and he was talking to him and he told him, they're talking, and he was an immigrant who came from back home working in the country, and he told him that for 12 years now, 12 years, he never saw the haram. He works driving the taxi in Makkah, and for 12 years he didn't see the Kaaba because he's busy working. So if Allah's tawfiq isn't there, you may not even get a prayer in the haram. I know a scholar, an Imam who went for Hajj, and he said, I didn't drink Zamzam water because I thought I'd get sick. Ask Allah for tawfiq. Allah, you allow me to benefit. Because if Allah allows you, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow you to do the maximum best. Think about this. Did you know looking at the Kaaba is ajr? It's a reward. If you look at the Kaaba, it's a reward. People are sitting on the 3rd row from the Kaaba and they're looking at their phones. Think about this. It's happening. It's become we're zombies now. You're in front. You don't have to do anything. No one should make dua, dhikr, anything. Just look at the Kaaba. If you don't want to do anything that night, go sit down, look at the Kaaba for an hour. Say one Subhanallah, Allahu Akbar. Say one La ilaha illallah. It is an ajr. It's a reward, brothers and sisters. So, if Allah doesn't give us tawfiq, we could go there and benefit from all the luxuries, but we could come back empty-handed spiritually. So remember this, ask Allah for tawfiq. Number 2, realize when you're in Medina, you're still not accepted for Hajj. When you're in Makkah, you're still not accepted for Hajj. You do your Umrah, you're still not accepted for Hajj. You go to Mina, you're still not accepted for Hajj. You're accepted for Hajj when you enter into Arafah. Until then, you are not accepted. There is stories of people who were in Makkah but they couldn't get to Arafah on the day of Arafah. Everything in this journey revolves around Allah's tawfiq. If you change your mindset and you do your due diligence logistically, you have to say one thing too. My Allah isn't ready for me. If not, if the bus is 5 minutes late, you'll complain. If the food isn't ready, you'll complain. You have to believe my Allah's my host. He will do it when He's ready.